Hey everybody, I just want to take a moment to thank all my subscribers and listeners that dedicate a little bit of time just to hear what I got to say. Thank you so much, but the struggle is real and it continues. Please spread awareness and do your part by making sure that you are subscribed and liking each of the episodes that you listen to. Share my episodes and spread awareness of my channel and what it is that I'm doing. These little things right here is what helps me grow and helps sponsorship come my way, as I am a struggling ex-con. I appreciate the support, the love, and thank you so much for tuning in. More to come. This episode has been brought to you by our friends over at CMB Law. If you find yourself in a tight spot and you need an attorney to trust, call Courtney over at CMB Law, 941-747-4440 or 941-725-9457. You can also visit her site at cmbjustice.com. cmbjustice.com. Again, that's Courtney at CMB Law. Tell them that Thomas FreeMe sent you from the Thomas FreeMe Podcast show. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 2022. Welcome to the Thomas FreeMe TV and Podcast show. Today is the long-awaited, long-overdue interview with Curtis Davis Jr., an individual whose story has shocked me at the amount of corruption and extent that our government will go to incarcerate our American citizens. There's a multitude of reasons why I bring these discussions. First and foremost, because we have innocent people in prison, and statistics have shown that our government has acknowledged that and written it off as just collateral damage. But these are American citizens. These are innocent people. And these are human beings that deserve the right to live their life, not be caught up in some corruptive scheme because they're looked at as collateral damage. So first and foremost, that is one of the reasons why I bring these discussions. Second reason is because these discussions are very, very important and a must need in our communities. We shun our backs and we turn our backs on the accused. And we need to start understanding why these people are being accused, the system that we're all involved in, and start understanding what prison as a business really, really, really means and how it's affecting our communities. Again, we have close to 3 million people incarcerated in this country. That is 75 times more than any other country on the face of the planet. Number 2 is China. They have 3 billion citizens. We have 300 and let's call it 50 million. Trying to build a prison. Hello. Man, good morning, man. Good morning, man. It's finally good to talk to you. How are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there. I'm good. Good. How about yourself?
Blessed, partner. I mean, I'm doing the same. You know, we're all trying to survive in different facets and different environments, but it's still survival nonetheless. But so this is the long-awaited, long-overdue interview with Mr. Curtis Davis Jr. Curtis has been going through a lot, so his time is limited, so I'm going to let him just break it down from day one. So, Curtis, let's start here. Let's start with the day of the occurrence. What happened on this day?
Oh, man. I guess you want me to start the day that the crime occurred, December the 1st, 2009. They said my point, though, December 2nd, 2009, me and my ex-wife, she was my wife at the time, we was called to come to the sheriff department for questioning. They doing question. They asked if I'd come back on December 3rd for a polygraph. I said, sure, I'm not. I didn't hide. It exclude the family from suspects. December 3rd, I went, showed up at the sheriff department early, Montgomery County Sheriff Department early. We left in his truck. While in the truck, he was asking questions between my ex-wife, her mom, and the victim, which was, her stepdad. Once I got there, though, I was told that by the sheriff I was escorted to one of the roads in the back of the, I think it was Batesville Highway Patrol office. I was taken back there to room. Pretty much told from the gate by the sheriff that, hey, we're not going to give you the polygraph test. Either say it was your ex-wife and her mom, or else you, or else we're going to lock y'all up and take your keys. So, after a couple of hours of that, a couple of minutes of that, I finally said, hey, I'll be alone. So, me and him went over, his next question was, what happened? I told him, I don't know. I'm only saying I did it so you'll leave me and my family alone. So, we went over some questions from there. That thing, I was thrown in jail. I haven't. Here, it's been 13 years, like I said, I was sent to jail, preliminary hearing. Then, as far as the indictment goes, they indicted me, stated that my hands were on me. It was a 30. The victim was killed with. They said my hands was on this, and then at the same time I was serving probation for a previous charge. I'm not a criminal or anything like that. Just I fell under a certain circumstance and ended up putting me on probation. But at the same time,
you have 1 minute remaining.
Okay, I guess what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call back in because I think my time up, and we'll continue from there. If that's okay.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I can edit these cuts out so it's a continuous stream. Please again be mindful that Curtis is calling in from a prison phone, so you get to actually hear the frustration between the family, loved ones, as it is to talk to an inmate that is in prison having to call through, a phone, essentially. And these phones are outdated, old phones that have been beat on, bragged on, not taken care of properly. So just a quick recap of the first discussion. The incident occurred. Your wife's stepfather, which was your father-in-law, was murdered.
Correct.
And the weapon that he was murdered with, because the call was a little choppy, was a 30-30?
Yeah, correct. 30-30, right.
30-30. Okay. And the investigation was solely based upon you, correct?
Again.
The investigation, like they didn't try to investigate anybody else. They were just only investigating you.
Well, they got five suspects and all. They did investigate and also got an investigation. They questioned my ex-wife, her mom. But the overall investigation, yes, sir, they actually just really investigated me.
And you were on probation for a unrelated charge at that time?
Yes, sir.
And was that a violent charge that you were on probation for?
Come again?
Was it a violent charge? What were you on probation for, violence or anything of that nature?
No, actually, no, I was on probation for a statutory rape charge. I had caught it in 2008. where, of course, the story around, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a crook. I came from Hawaii, Schofield Bear, 25th Infantry Division. My dad's a bishop. I went to a church. He had new members at the church. Of course, they knew who I was. I walked in the church. And I could say my daughter was now 15. Her mom and her grandma was at the church. I was introduced. My mom, long story short, we ended up having a baby while, she was underage. I was 18. She was 14. So that's what occurred. Long story short, did I rape her? Don't know. I was just unaware of her age. And, like I say, her mom was around at that point in time. So, of course, I wasn't thinking that she was underage. So that's where the probation came from. The judge gave me 5 years probation instead of suspended 20 years in prison.
Got it. So then you were brought in for essentially a conversation about maybe a plea deal, or essentially of what the charges were, and that is when you found out that they had your wife in handcuffs in the precinct as they were bringing you in, and they coerced you into signing a plea deal for manslaughter on this charge.
Okay, now, as far as the plea go itself, now, what occurred was, I did, December 3rd, I did confess, like I said, to it, because I wanted them to pretty much leave my family alone, because at that point in time, I didn't think I knew I did in person, but I didn't believe my wife at the time, her mom, had anything to do with it. So after I confessed, they locked me up. They brought me back the next day and tried to give another confession, because even the record showed the confession I had given, you could tell that it had been practiced. But I didn't give her another confession because they walked me in. I think that my wife, my ex-wife, had restraint. And I was like, hey, y'all said y'all was going to leave us alone if I said I did it. But it didn't go that way. Now, you're saying when I did get indicted, I got indicted for possession of capital murder, possession by firearm by convicted felon, possession of third rifle, in which the court say I to kill the victim. Of course, when I was indicted as well, the trial lawyer I had, Warren Martin, Jackson, Mississippi. When he came to me, he said, man, doing autopsy, they got your confession, but doing autopsy of the deceased's body, they found, instead of blood, DNA on his fingernails, suggesting that he got into some form of struggle or fight with whoever had killed him. They said if I made them go through with testing, they was going to go at the death penalty if testing came back where the blood or the fingerprints on the murder weapon. But if the testing came back and did, they was going to acquit me. Well, of course, I only confess because, like I say, try to save my family. But I told them to come along with testing, so they waited. They waited on that for a while.
And you were unknown when you signed the plea that day. You were unknown that the DNA evidence had already came back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, why did we fast forward to August 2010? Yes, sir. I had pled guilty. Around June 2010, I had gave warrants to take my DNA, my blood, to include excluding as contributed to the DNA, the fingerprint found at the crime scene. And August the 31st, 2010, I was brought to court. It was supposed to be in a hearing to, I think, a suppression hearing to, we were supposed to have had the lab reports at that point in time. It's like almost a month. I was going on 2 months almost. after I had gave my DNA to test and stuff. So I was actually looking forward to it because I knew I hadn't touched the weapon. But when I got there, my family asked about the test, and I asked about the test. The court had told him the testing was not ready. However, he still was like, hey, you confess though, so you might as well go on the plea. If you don't go on the plea, I'm not going to represent you. Because he was looking at I confess. So what else? So like I kept telling him, I never did touch him. I wasn't even at the crime scene. So I actually foolishly I confessed. I mean, not confessed, but I pled guilty to manslaughter, victim with to run a detective, supposed to be concurrent with the suspended sentence of 20 years for the statutory rape.
And was this a white attorney or a black attorney?
Black.
And do you think he had knowledge of the evidence that was out? The DNA evidence?
Well, to be honest, I got to speak on it now because, I represented myself in full process with that knowledge. I got to say, looking at the record, that's the argument right now. You know what I'm saying? The argument is not, lab reports getting up surfacing 9 months after I was convicted, saying that I am excluded as contributor to the fingerprints found on a murder weapon. It also said I am excluded. Fingerprints found on the phone, the cordless phone. I am excluded as contributor to the blood, the DNA found under the victim's fingernail. It also say that I am excluded from all evidence found at the crime scene, right? So by that being said, this my old lawyer, after the lab report came out, he filed my first post-conviction and stated that the state withheld the lab report. Lab reports exonerate me, and that the state should pay any restitution. What the state turned around and did, though, the trial court turned around and did, was filed a motion behind post-conviction and freedom in 2011, stating that I was represented by counsel Warren Marr Jr., a black lawyer, and it was him, lab reports made available to him 4 days prior to me being convicted or taking a plea. However, he failed to utilize them. So that is what's said in the record.
So that is what the state is saying. The state is saying that the records were made available to the attorney prior to the plea that you signed, and therefore you're held accountable for this, right?
Yes, sir. They saying that he had them, and because I was representing, they saying it's his fault.
Because you were representing what? You chipped out.
They say yes, sir, because I represented by counsel, it's his fault, not their fault.
So you were supposed to have an evidentiary hearing where this attorney was supposed to come in and speak to this, right?
Yes, sir. Anytime any evidence surfaces after any conviction that could possibly wait or overturn the case if it was present during the time of plea or trial. Yes, sir. They usually do give an evidentiary hearing. But however, in my case, from the beginning, June 11, when the trial court issued that conviction that Mo North filed claiming, they made it clear on there that he represented me and that I should not ever get a evidentiary hearing. Now, of course, if you look at my file, you look online, I have been filed by myself 2015. My first appeal to the high court, Mississippi Court of Appeals. They also acknowledged what the lab reports excluding me, things of that nature. But how should I say? They just overlooking the trial. Things like I haven't had an evidentiary hearing, but I haven't.
That's what we're facing now with my case being back on the field in the Mississippi Court of Appeals. That's the thing now, the evidence, hey, I should be granted evidence we're here because the fact is out there. Of course, I'm innocent. It's just the court said that the lawyer had the report. The lawyer said that the court had them. So, I had to go in. Any lawyer, anybody knows that. I just couldn't go in blaming the state, even though the state is guilty of what was grave, I was holding. I had to go in under ineffective counsel because, my counsel, it was him who allowed it. And the record do show all of this. So, yes, sir.
So how does that start? The ineffective assistance of counsel, what was it? Is this counsel still active?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Warren Moore Jr. Jackson, yes, sir. He have a radio station. Yes, sir. The way ineffective assistance of counsel work is, on the Constitution, we guarantee effective assistance of counsel. And what they're saying is he was ineffective because he failed to utilize the lab reports as of course, quoting the law, the lab reports are my only plausible line of defense to prove my innocence because the court, as well as him, was made aware of the weight that the lab reports were going to carry. You were going to say that I was there, I committed the crime, I knew of the crime, it was just going to exclude me completely. And by them excluding me completely, they're saying that he never did bring that up. However, like I say, he can be, that will fall under ineffective. But however, though, I will say this with the high courts, they only go off the record. You understand what I'm saying? They don't just go off my word or the court word. They go off what's in the file. Like I said, when you look in the file, you'll see, yes, he was ineffective because, the continuation file to move the court date that was set that I didn't even know about. It was set farther back just to allow the lab reports to come out. So it should be as the court to wait until that actually got it in hand. But like I say, the record do show that if you was to ask me who would be guilty in this aspect of withholding the evidence, I would have to say, with confidence, the state of Mississippi, Montgomery County Circuit Court, Montgomery County District Attorney's Office, because that's what the record shows.
And who was that district attorney?
Doug Evans. I'm pretty sure everybody done heard of Attorney Doug Evans. The previous case that I most use is Curtis Flowers versus State. I think everybody aware of that case. Well, and it's the same DA, Doug Evans of Grenada, Mississippi.
You said Doug Evans?
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
So, and this whole time that you've been in there, this hasn't been an easy time for you, right?
Nah, no, sir. No, sir.
What are some of the experiences of you doing state time in Mississippi?
We just came off a big lockdown in 2018 outside of Corona began in 2020 because, the statewide bang against organizations. That was affected with I myself. Have I been affected? I've been a while things have moved. Just to bring you up to speed, recently was that beginning of last year, I was guys in prison, organization members. I can't say why it occurred, but I was in the back of a zone and a couple surrounding me, and actually, at the same time, recently, I think about a month ago, beginning of February this year, I was surrounded, while doing my job because, God bless me, I'm able to move around now. Help do projects for the facility, put on projects for the facility. Then on the compound and quadrilla. and for other groups that come, so I was doing my job one morning, and some organization they surrounded me, with friends, So, I'm going through the prison aspect of, where, life and danger, things of that nature, it's been 13 hard years, and Mississippi continue to play with my life by keeping me in.
Who runs the compound there? What gangs do you have on that compound? Who runs the compound?
Oh, in Mississippi is different. Mississippi, you have gangs such as, the gangsters and the vice lord. You know what I'm saying? You have those are the two main entities that pretty much run the Mississippi prison system.
And you being how many people in there know about your case and know that you're an innocent person in prison?
I'm hoping, but I can't say it has. So I just can't say what numbers know, but some do know about it.
And do you feel like you're treated differently because they know that you're innocent in prison, and you're just really not trying to do prison life? You're caught up in the system. Like, do you feel that you're treated differently in any kind of way?
Sometimes I do feel like that because, reality is, individuals do feel, they do envy, and, they'll send things your way. Even say he'll send things your way to try to scratch you or get you in more trouble. And then, that is some of the things that the justice, they try to send guys your way, a jailhouse informant, prison informant, things of that nature. And that's things that even friends, through these guys, through these individuals may be friends of the other suspects, things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? Because I think everybody has a family member somewhere incarcerated. So, yes, sir, those are some of the things that do run through my mind. And like I say, when it all boiled down, it's just the fact that with my innocence being so directly proven, Mississippi court system, just being even as a black man, it's just like they say, forget whatever happened in prison, it just happened. So yes, sir, that's exactly how I look at it.
Let me ask you this, homie. Like, how do you deal with it? Like, for the listeners out there that really don't understand, how do you deal with being in this environment, going through what you've been through, the beatings? I think that you said that you've been stabbed, just the pressure on all the stuff that's going on with you. How do you stay sane? Like, how do you keep this mental space and this strength and this humility that you display, knowing that all of this atrocity has happened to you and you did nothing wrong?
Hello? You went out.
Did you hear me?
No, you had went out when you said.
What was the last thing you heard?
I heard you say something about all the atrocities I've been through, and you went out from there.
So what I'm saying is, like, how do you deal with the mentality, your mental space of knowing that all of these things have been occurring to you and you've done nothing wrong, and here you're just trying to prove your innocence. How do you deal with that mentally?
God, I think that and background is that powerful advantage, and it just, I ain't gonna lie to you, I done had breakdowns in prison. I've been sick, but yeah, God, and just the drive that I know that I'm in. I don't belong here. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm a fighter. So I just can't sit down. I think that's what have drove me as far as even when it comes to how I represented myself. I don't say I have thank God I've had help. Paralegal named Gary Moore from Tupelo. He helped me last step but just God, they're giving me that fight. You know what I'm saying? I know this ain't it right here. You know what I'm saying? So if I lay down, I wouldn't be where I am right now in the process. You know what I'm saying? I just look at it like this, man. You know, it's the time. God got me, man.
No question about that, man. You know, we go through this stuff for a purpose and for a reason, man. And at some point in our life, we just hope that's uncovered so we can understand as to why we went through this stuff. But what can we do, partner? What as society, as the listener, what can the listener do to help you right now?
Well, like I said, you know, continue to push for me. Like I said, you know, I'm representing myself in court, so I don't have all the different organizations. I have, you know, there are the web pages. It's a Facebook page that was set up by supporters as far as, I think it's called Actual Innocence 2. It's on Facebook. It's a page, Justice for Curtis David Jr. on Instagram, as well as #1 Billboard artist Topher. Come on, man. That's telling the story, you know, as far as my case goes. He's also, you know, blessed to be my first cousin, so that's a blessing. I just need everybody to keep pushing for me, man. You know, call the court if it's any hard. Call the Mississippi Court of Appeals. You know, call Montgomery County Circuit Court, and you know, get that innocent guy out. You know what I'm saying? I need voices. You know, because at the end of the day, like I say, you know, it's not just me crying and saying I'm innocent. And just because I want to say that and I'm looking for pity, my cry is that, hey, I'm actually innocent, and the state actually overlooked this thing. And they've been over. They're trying to make it seem like I have had a hearing or I have been able to put this on or this have occurred, but it hasn't. You know what I'm saying? So like I say, man, I just need support. I need to work out more. You know what I'm saying? Put a file in the court. So, that's what I need, man. You know. So, hey, the more out there to help me along with you and what you're doing, we appreciate it. Hey, they will word hit the court today, tomorrow, and they actually not only just take my case off the docket, but actually look at it and go and release me.
Yeah. So in order to get you, like right now, where are you at in the courts right now? Do you have anything pending right now?
Yes, sir. My case is back in court since 2019. Right now, my appeal is on the state level. It's in Mississippi Court of Appeal. And like I say, right now everything they in the claims is, like I said, ineffective counsel. A possible Brady violation with the state withholding the evidence.
But where's that at right now? Like, what is the process? Where's that appeal sit at right now?
Well, I'm out of this. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you could say it's on level. This is like the second or third step within the appeal process. And hopefully it don't have to go any further than the Mississippi Court of Appeal. So that, I guess that's how we have to say it's at the state level. Or it reaches out to the Mississippi, still at the state level. So
are we waiting on a response right now? Or?
Yes, sir. We're waiting. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying, they usually have, you know, put it like this. I filed my appeal in a court. My appeal due October 2021. So I'll say within a 90 to 9 month, 6 to 9 month time frame before I actually get it. So right now I think I am around 4 or 5 months right now. So it's the process, you know, the most of the steps is mature within the point where it's in front of them, it's on the docket. So they can pull it at any time and look at it. Yeah, that's why I'm in the process.
Got it. So if we had people calling up there for them to pull that docket and for them to look at that, that's possible. That would put a little bit of pressure. Okay. So then we need to get that number of who the people need to contact there about having that docket heard and pushed along.
I just, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if individuals can call and talk to the judges directly because, like I said, with the state level, it's going in front of more than one judge. But I guess they can call and leave their concern. Mississippi Court of Appeal, Mississippi Supreme Court, clerk.
Yeah, the clerk. The judges, either the judge's secretary or the clerk of the court. But absolutely, or the representative. You know, and again, this is the FreeMe Podcast message where the community has to start stepping up and looking out for one another. You know, when we see that an American citizen needs help, us, the community, we have to rally behind and get and support each other. So this is what we have to do, man. So I'm gonna get the information for that, and I'll post that, you know, in this video as well. And so the people can, it's just a phone call, 20 minutes of your time to just call and say, we want, I'll include the docket number. So the caller would just call and say, we want this docket heard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We want this docket heard.
Hopefully everybody, like I say, actually that is proven too, interviews are constantly posting things dealing with my case. So, like I say, you can go on there and push it to any and everybody that's concerned. Because, hopefully my case, of course, I'm fighting for myself, but others as well. Because sometimes it takes a case like mine to bust into other individuals who have been done wrong in some form or way by the justice system, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I ask everybody to, man, just join in and they just imagine in it, you know what I'm saying? So, just whatever can be done, whoever can reach to, whether it be a representative senator, whether it be anybody, I ask for their help, man. It's appreciated.
Yeah, no question, Curtis, man. Is there anything that we left out off the top of your head that you can think of? Anything? I know that, again, for the listener, I know that the phones in prison are horrible. So a lot of the information may be a little hard to decipher. But for any details or anything, you can find me again just by Googling Thomas FreeMe. That's my social media, and get a hold of me on social media through Instagram, Facebook, any of those, and I can address your concerns there at that time. But other than that, again, I think you said actual innocence is actual innocence too. I know you and I are friends on well, not you and I, but whoever's running your account is under innocence proven too, I think.
Yes, that's right. I was saying actual innocence too, but innocence proven.
Innocence proven too. Yeah. And that's like the Roman numeral 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And that's how they can actually get a hold of all of your information, who's running that and such. So that's it. And that's, Curtis, man, I hear these stories from so many inmates, man, and like the stat is it's proven that up to 10% of the people that are in prison are innocent. 10%. 10% of the people that are in prison are innocent. So we've heard Hillary Clinton say that people are collateral damage. And if that's the case, how do we sit with that? How does we, the people, sit with the fact that any one of us could be one of this 10% as an innocent person in prison and be written off as collateral damage? But at the end of the day, this is a human being. Curtis Davis is a human being who has a child, who has family, who has people that love him, who he loves. And he did not come to earth to be collateral damage for some government scheme, you know? So we have to rally behind that. We have to come together about that. And if it just takes a phone call to your legislator, to the court, to say, we want this man's docket heard. He deserves a chance to have all the evidence be heard. That's all the man is asking for, because he knows that evidence is gonna clean him. So let me ask you this, Curtis, man to man. Did you or are you guilty of this here? Did you kill that man?
No, sir. No, sir. I wasn't around. I didn't put the weapon. Wasn't at the crime scene. Didn't know nothing of the crime.
And that question,
sir?
That question is more for the listener, because I've been, you know, I've been dealing with you and your party for a little while, and one thing I can say about you is you're a humble person. You know, you're a humble person, and you have a good head on your shoulders. You know, and if I've been around people who have committed crimes and tried to play the innocence role, you know what I mean? And I just don't get that with you. I believe you. I believe in what you say, because I've seen these accounts firsthand. Not specifically with your case, which I've seen those documents as well, but just so many cases of prosecutorial misconduct, overreaching, overzealousness, just to prove points, to provide convictions and such. So I believe you, Curtis, and I want to see you come home, partner, because you deserve that. You know? So all I can say, partner, is just keep your head up. Know that you have people out here that are fighting for awareness, man. It's hard. It's hard because of the stigma that they've put over the American citizen, that allows the American citizen to look at you, us, as just throwaways, you know, as a burden or a menace, and in so many cases it's just not the case, you know. And it's just getting people to listen, just to stop and listen for a second, and to get past your judgments and just listen and let your mind understand what's going on. And then you'll start to see what's happening in our communities, you know. So just keep your head up, partner. We love you, man. And we're gonna get you out of there. We're gonna bring you home, partner.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Any shout outs you want to give? Any love, anything like that?
Man, always, man, like I say, gotta give shout out to God. I know He here. Give a shout out to, you know, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brothers, everybody. You know, they moved out of the Mississippi, they in Georgia area. Plus, I got 3 beautiful teenagers now. So I give a shout out to them, man. I ain't seen them since they was like 2. And so, you know, I just want them to know that they dad love them. And other than that, man, I give a shout out to Toast for what he's doing for me. He took a big risk and made a song, and the song he's doing good. He's doing good. I just say to everybody, I give a shout out to everybody, man, that need help instead of in a bad situation, instead of push to get themselves out there, run out of just land and assisting them. That's my shout out, man.
Yeah, I want to get out. I'd like to do an interview with Topher too, man, so we could talk about this and so many other things, because he's got a large platform. You know what I mean? So he's got a very large platform. So I'll incorporate him in this too and plug him in. But Curtis, man, as always, man, I hate disconnecting from y'all, man, because I feel like I'm leaving a soldier behind, you know, and I know what it is to hang up that phone and have to go back into reality, you know. So keep your head up, soldier.
Already appreciate it, man. Appreciate you taking this opportunity. Thanks.
No, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your strength. You know what I mean, and your courage, and the walk that you're walking. You know, so much love, peace and love, brother. And like I say, man, no soldier left behind. So we working for you out here.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, one love.